Watching that delay.
What's going on, everyone? Once again, we're back with Hot Topic with Z and Tuck. This is another episode. It's a special episode. I'm your host, C.
We got Tuck. We got our special guest here, David Deem.
And today we are going to be talking about gun control. After all these recent events that have been seeing on TV, I think this topic was brought up, and I think it's time for us to finally bring it on our show and talk about it. First of all, we want to, we have a guest again in the house, Deem.
Hello.
Want to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
As far as job-wise, prior military, did a little over 10 years in corrections. Other than that, nothing too exciting. Little borderline private contract work. That's about it. Now I live a regular life as a civilian. That's why I have this wonderful, huge mane.
Getting beard, fantastic.
Ain't no shit.
Beard-tastic.
And Deem, like we're talking today again about gun control. And what can you tell us about the recent events and how we can bring gun control into this?
I'm a firm believer in no gun control. As far as we already have gun control set in place. There's nothing as far as steps we can take farther to prevent anything, no matter what libtard says what. Anybody who's worked law enforcement, most people haven't, and that's a big issue. They have no idea. Criminals are criminals because they don't follow the law. It doesn't matter what law you instill, what you put out there. They're criminals. They're not abiding by the law. It's not going to slow them down. People with mental health, they don't have guns. Say, Democrats got what they wanted. They took all the guns away. Okay, you're going to take every knife away? You're going to take every car away. You're going to take everything away.
Exactly.
But that's what you're going to lose when you give up your guns, is all your freedoms. Because you don't have anything to defend those freedoms anymore.
Exactly. Like I tell everybody, it's pretty much along the same lines. So you take the guns away, they're going to start going after U-Haul trucks.
Oh, yeah.
With the recent incident that just happened, be taking away other cars, like the when the protesters got ran down, be taking. It's just going to keep going. The list is just going to keep going, and it won't stop. They're going to be taking everything from you, and might as well go ahead and just have no gun laws, because they're going to get them anyway, one way or the other.
All right. Well, I mean, they talk about, you got these high-capacity magazines, you can kill so many people.
Yeah.
First of all, it's the person behind the trigger.
Exactly.
Just because you have 100 rounds doesn't mean you're getting 100 kills. Mm-hmm. And if you look at events that have happened in other countries that have taken all the civilian guns, and there is no weapons, I don't remember, don't quote me, it's either, I think it was China, Korea, or Japan. One individual killed like 30-something people with a knife.
Right.
Literally ran through a crowd
Yep.
and stabbed all these people to death.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had the one in China, I believe it was China also, that on the train.
Yeah.
With the knife.
I mean, people with issues or agendas, they're always going to find a way.
Exactly.
I mean, they want to kill a lot of people, they'll figure it out. Can't get a gun? That's all right. I got chemicals. I'll build a bomb. You know what I mean?
That's right. And it brings back that old saying, guns don't kill people. People kill people. I can lay that gun right there on the table, and never once will it discriminate between black, white, Hispanic, Indian, whatever. It's just going to lay right there until you decide to pick it up, and you put your finger on the trigger, and that's when it goes bang.
It's a tool.
Exactly.
It's whoever has the tool and what they're going to use it for.
Exactly.
I mean, I think one of the questions would be is what can we do, or like what should be put in place as far as like people that have I don't want to call it mental a challenge, or some people that have
Mental illness?
illness. Yes. How can we?
You know what? If you're diagnosed with mental illness, you can't purchase a firearm legally.
Okay.
You can't.
Well, you said that people usually, one way or another, they get their hands on guns.
Right.
What can we do about that? As far as like, is there a way to control that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, if you look at, I hate to say it, but if you look at a prison system is supposed to be somewhere where they can't engage in criminal acts.
Correct.
But what goes on in a prison system? They sell dope, the same thing they would do out on the streets, but there's no dope in prison. It's against the law, it's against the rules, it's a closed facility. Where there's a means, there's a way, and they will find the way to do it.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? There's no weapons, no weapons. They make weapons. I mean, nothing's going to stop somebody with a purpose. You're going to find a way. You'll always find a way. If you really want to get something done, you want to do something horrible, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what laws are out there or what programs you want to run. They're going to accomplish their goal.
I think another, like more into that question, let's talk about recent events. One of the recent events. Okay, so I know many people that are watching us right now, they've mentioned in the past, weeks of our show that why don't we talk about Vegas? Okay, how was that person or that individual able to sneak that amount of weapons? Or let's not say that one person, okay, because a lot of people there's so many different stories about this event. How was one or this individual be able to sneak those many guns without?
Well, let's be honest. You're not sneaking that amount of weapons into a casino. Anybody who's watched any documentary on a casino, I mean, if you can catch somebody counting cards, because you have like 53 cameras per person individual in your casino, there's really no other area that has more surveillance than a casino.
You say the cameras didn't work on that floor, but
yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, you have cameras out of the parking lot, in the lobby, in the elevators, in the hallways. I mean, there's no way to traffic. Because me and my friends, we've gone to the range, and I used to have a nice little personal arsenal myself, and just moving like 4 or 5 rifles and a couple of handguns. Let me tell you, that weighs a ton. I mean, just the weight of the rifles, your pack, ammunition, everything else. It's not an easy. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get all that, and that's just walking from your car to the range. Okay, if you're talking about as many weapons as supposedly they said this one individual brought, that's multiple trips. That's large cases. You're telling me all security, all of the employees didn't notice this? Not one bit?
Well, I have my perception of it is this guy was pretty well off. He was. So most people that stay in places on vacation, they have lots of luggage. And it could be easily passed through the lobby, easily put onto a elevator and taken up to that floor and then rolled right on into the room.
Well, the other thing about that is I gotta slightly disagree just for the fact that that's possible if you have a random individual that nobody knows. But that wasn't the case. Supposedly this guy was a regular big spender.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Casinos keep track of their regulars and big spenders. Mm-hmm. They want to know if they're down there spending. They want to know, what they need. They're constantly asking them, hey, how you doing? They know these people, their routine, okay? Mm-hmm. But when you see an individual that you know is routine, he is one of your guys, and you just see him rolling giant case after case upstairs.
Yeah.
There's no moment where you go, well, that's out of the norm.
Right.
Even if you're not an employee, security alone should be like, okay, your 7th trip up there with these gigantic cases.
Yeah.
Maybe inquire, or something like that. But honestly, I think that guy was, I'm going to kickstart something here, but I think he was dead before the shooting even started.
I actually kind of agree with that.
We have Paul Rich. He said, I worked in a riverboat casino for 10 years. They have cameras everywhere, and trust me, they can read the tags on your shirts.
Oh, I agree, because, like you said, they do have cameras everywhere. I worked for a small casino when I was younger, Viejas Casino out in Southern California. And let me tell you, there wasn't an inch of that place that they weren't watching. Even spots that you thought were ridiculous and pointless, they had a camera watching that area. There wasn't anywhere you could go in there, be it in the public spectrum or the private for the employees. It was all watched. It was all under surveillance.
Right.
They don't trust their employees just like they don't trust anyone else. They're watching everything. You got to figure that casino I worked for was a smaller casino. They pulled about $2 million a day. So when you got that kind of money, you got a security system in place that you wouldn't believe.
Right.
You're going to protect what you're intaking. When the video first came out and I heard the rate of fire and everything else, I immediately told one of the guys I worked with, I said that, because he pulled up a picture, he said, oh, this is what they're saying he used, which was a shitty AR-15 with a bump ski, or a bump fire stock.
Right.
I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way. I said, that rate of fire, that quick of a follow-up, that's an M249. And I pulled him up a video, and we played it side by side, and it matched up. And that was like right after it had happened. A few weeks later, guy came out. You can hear audio of the overlapping fire. He also did a sound bite side by side with an AR, and then a full size, I think it was the M249, matched up perfectly. And the AR, no way. And anybody who's shot one of those slide fire stocks, they're shit. Okay? It's fun if you want to waste a bunch of ammunition, but as far as like getting on target, no, it's still bump fire. You're literally just letting the weapon run wild. I'm a pretty good shot. From where they're saying he was and to what he used, with that level of light, distance, bullet drop, and everything else, there's no way. You have to have somebody extremely experienced behind that trigger to lay that many individuals out from that position. And this guy was no competition shooter. He was supposedly just an avid gun collector. He's not going to be able to wreak that kind of havoc.
Well, at first they tried to say that he didn't have anything to do with guns. He never even owned a gun. But then it started coming out to where he was actually, he collected guns. And so, the story keeps changing.
Hey,
so.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, how they're just pumping out so much disinformation that buddy of mine, right, he always asks, like, what the fuck happened in Vegas? You're never going to know.
Exactly.
And even if you know, you're never going to know. Because so much disinformation has been purposely put out that even when the truth is there and present, you can't take it as the truth. Because everything has been posted as the truth, as the reality, and it's all been, oh, okay, well, this is bullshit. Oh, we got this wrong. But it's almost like a cloud of disinformation to cover up what really happened.
Well, continuing on with that question, Paul asked also, so where are the tapes?
That was the other thing. The sheriff came out, and understandably, when you have an investigation that's ongoing, you can't discuss certain details, you can't release certain things because it taints the investigation.
Right.
But what pissed me off is when he actually said, "Oh, you know, we're having a hard time getting the security camera footage, and that they had to, you know, we got to subpoena it and this, that, and the other." Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's bullshit. The law states if you have an ongoing investigation and they fucking impede on that investigation, well, guess what? You're under fucking arrest.
The FBI
And it's a
can
federal
step-
case.
The FBI can step right in there and take those tapes without
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
For some
and
kind
if
of
you
reason,
withhold
the whole situation.
evidence and information,
Yeah.
guess what, motherfucker? You go to jail.
Exactly.
So that was bullshit. It was just a line of bullshit, and people that didn't know any better just were like, "Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, that explains that." You know, it was to hush the uneducated masses, which, you know, kind of worked.
Yeah. All right, let's jump off of Vegas here for a little bit. And what are your thoughts on this Antifa revolution that's supposed to happen on the 4th?
You know what? I got a lot of buddies on Facebook, and they were posting that shit, and I can honestly say I didn't fucking share or post any of that because I didn't buy into it.
Yeah, I kind of sent out a warning on our last episode, just to let people know, you know, protect yourself, protect your home.
You know,
and if I didn't think they was going to do anything in the first place, but
it's always good to be cautious.
Exactly.
And be prepared.
If they want to come to you, then show them what a true patriot's all about.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I mean, the cold hard fact is they're fucking crybaby overprivileged children, and you know, lazy fucks. They don't know anything or haven't been in a fight or exchanged gunfire or anything. It's easier for them to say, "Hey, we got this big fucking coup that's coming. We're gonna get you." It's just fucking propaganda.
Right, and some of them get even brainwashed by it. So you have a few that just go off their little rocker, like Sutherland, Texas, Springs, Texas, and that's one who got brainwashed by the whole deal and decided to go out and do something. But
you know what?
Who else is standing it up to even taking the credit for it?
Nobody.
It's that one individual who says he was with Antifa, and now nothing.
Which, who's to say he is? It's just like somebody stubs their fucking toe on a corner of a table and I says like, "We are responsible for that." No, you're fucking not. You know what I mean? You want to... Antifa's just using kind of the same tactics. You want to claim that you're responsible for shit, so you give the illusion that you actually are fucking doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you were involved in, "Oh, we can get you," da-da-da. It's fucking bullshit. And Antifa, yeah, absolutely. It's taking advantage of people that are easily manipulated. You watch all this bullshit media to where, they're feeding an agenda. And they're too fucking lazy to look into shit themselves. They'll take just, you say something, "Oh, well, that's the fucking truth."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's mostly all the liberals who gets this stuff started. For a simple fact reason, war brings money.
Yeah.
So once they can get everything going, then that's going to bring more money in, because now we're fitting the bill for this and this and this, and so
I think. See, Mike, I kind of have a theory. To take kind of back to that Vegas thing. We finally got a Republican office, pro-gun. NRA's backing them, and a lot of avid, gun owners and everything who believe in the Second Amendment were notably happy because we've been shut down left and right. We've had the bullshit assault rifle ban that we had to sit through for like 10 fucking years, and it didn't change anything. They literally passed that ban. Nothing changed. It didn't help anything. It didn't stop anything. And so it went away. Well, the other thing that's coming up is, and this is where it all ties in my opinion. Okay, so the thing that was coming up is the Hearing Act bill, okay? it already got shot down once, and this is before Trump was in office. And the Hearing Act bill is basically, it's around suppressors. And the way it works is avid gun shooters, we get fucking hearing damage. Guns are loud, you know? And right now, suppressors are classified under the NFA Act, which is bullshit, because it's not a weapon in itself.
Right.
It's to suppress the sound. It's an attachment, at best. So you have these items that are wildly expensive. Plus, you have to pay the fucking feds $200 to buy something, just to buy it. You know, that's not towards the purchase. It's just to be able to buy. And then you got to sit there and wait 6 months to a fucking year for the thing that you just bought to even get your hands on. Okay? Well, the Hearing Act's coming up again. Then we have this fucking Vegas shooting. And this is why I lean back to fucking Democrats and their agendas.
Mm-hmm.
How convenient it is. The very first fucking thing out of Hillary Clinton's mouth is not like, oh, you know, let's pray for the people lost, blah, blah, blah. No, the very first thing out of her mouth was, well, if he had a suppressor, think how many more people would have died. That was exactly what the fuck she said. She said, and it was like, really? To me, that just like red flag, you know?
Right.
You're just basically setting some shit up for a gun grab again, you know, to shut down a bill you know is coming,
Yeah.
you know? And people think, you know, they watch movies and they're like, oh, you know, you have a suppressor, you could fucking cap 3 people in a public place and nobody would know. Bullshit. It doesn't go, psh, 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 you know.
Right.
You hear that fucking slide. It's just not to the point to where you're like sitting there fucking with your ears ringing.
Right.
But it's that disillusion, and most people believe that. They believe that that's what a suppressor does. It makes a weapon silent. Like, you don't hear it. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and if it did, that would be phenomenal. But everybody thinks it's like, oh, that's only for CIA operatives and this, that, and the other. No, man. If you look at, like, real old-timely magazines and catalogs and shit, because I've seen it firsthand,
Mm-hmm.
suppressors were originally designed for hunting. You had, like, old black and white photos with, you know, their hunting rifles,
Yeah.
and they'd have suppressors on them for, like, squirrel hunting and other hunting, so they didn't spook other animals and they can get more game.
Right.
I mean, that was, like, its original intent.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, oh, well, nobody needs a suppressor. Well, if you ever hunted a coyote, fuck yeah, you do, because you don't want to spook the other 2 that might be coming.
Yeah. Or boar hunting.
But it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
falls under the Second Amendment. You know, it's just taking your freedoms away.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a little bit of my theory. But yeah, and then of course the Democrats, they are just fucking throwing in all these fucking gun snatching bills.
Yeah.
And just like a lot of the videos I repost on my page, you know, I put them out there because I want people to know to actually do something, you know, write your letters, make your phone calls, because they have put these bills and made them so fucking vague, the interpretation could be anything. Like one of the bills they're trying to put towards, and they're openly saying, oh, this is to get rid of the bumpfire stock.
Mm-hmm.
Bumpfire stock is not verbally put anywhere in this bill. Nowhere in this bill. It says anything to modify rate of fire. Well, that could be your fucking finger.
Yep.
I mean, it's so vague that you could classify your finger, a competition trigger, you know, a 3-gun trigger, anything. You could literally make up anything with that vague. And then basically, you could just take guns out of fear. Well, you know, I think that's going to bump your rate of fire. You're going to do 10 years in fucking prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it would just be up to wild interpretation by the ATF.
Steve Vera said Jimmy Kimmel is another one after the biggest shooting. He went on his show crying, talking about gun control.
Jimmy Kimmel is on the fucking payroll. Just like all of Hollywood. I mean, I can't even enjoy fucking shows that I used to like. Like, that new season of, what the fuck is that? American Horror Story. I was looking forward to that, you know? And I even saw I saw the previews, and when they started coming out and I saw the Trump shit, I was like, you know what, fuck it, you know, I'll give it a chance.
Right.
And sure as shit, it's just propaganda, agenda pushing, fucking brainwashing crap. You know, they want to infiltrate everybody's mind through media, movies, television shows. I mean, let's face it, dude. I think you're a fucking idiot if you listen to anybody in Hollywood. They don't give a fuck about you.
Nope.
They're rich as fucking balls. They don't give a shit. Yeah, fuck you. Guns are bad, you should give them up. But I'm gonna keep my private fucking security that are armed to the teeth. Because I'm rich, and you're not. You know, fuck them. You know, Jimmy Kimmel's a piece of shit. He's been a piece of shit for a while. I mean, he's just pumping that agenda, period. I mean, if you sit back and really look at shit and listen to what they're showing on, you know, even children's movies and shit, like, because I have a daughter, I got a little girl, she's fucking adorable. She doesn't hear me swear like this, because Daddy's on his best behavior when she's around. But we were watching fucking the Smurfs movie. Never seen that before. And I think it was part 2. So it's animated. And I'm watching all the little fucking like mind programming shit in there. So Smurfette, you know, okay, here's the premise. I know it's going to tie in. Bear with me. So Smurfs finally find where all the fucking female Smurfs are. Okay? Because there's always believed that Smurfette was just getting tagged out by everybody. So they find them. So where's their love interest in that fucking story? Smurfette and one of the other girls in the thing. And but it's fucking subtle. It's subtle, and I'm like, well, usually when you use subtlety like that, it's because you're just trying to put it in the back of somebody's head. Right. You know what I mean? And you got to think, this is a young person watching this. It's just putting that in the back of their head, because the whole movie is, you know, you got the buff Smurf, and he likes Smurfette, and she keeps fucking dodging and shooting him down. And then she meets this other female, and there's just like these little quirks in it. And I'm like, and I look at my wife, I'm like, do you see this shit? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm not paying attention. I go, you need to start paying attention to everything she watches. Because even that Gumball show, another cartoon, there's so much fucking Illuminati shit in that, it's crazy. But nobody's watching what their children are watching. They just sit their kids in front of the fucking TV and just go, oh, it's a Disney Channel. Oh, it's fucking Cartoon Network. It's fine. No. You should be watching what your children are watching. Because that's when it starts. They start in media, movies, shows. Then it's in the school. How many times have we heard on the news about some liberal agenda pushed by a high school teacher? Or, you know, these people are forming your child's mind. I mean, you want to think that you're instilling things? Think honestly to yourself. How long are you teaching your kid, and how long is your kid with somebody else getting taught? Especially when they're in school. I mean, they're gone all day. That's a bunch of different people influencing your child. And then you get what? That short little time at the end of the day when you see them? You know what I mean?
And then,
so you told you get me on a rant.
And dealing with the education, it's been changing so much through the years. It's like now they got that core math shit.
Our education system's fucked.
They took out religion in schools. They took out the Pledge of Allegiance
is gone. Schools. Yeah.
Now they're taking out parts of history in the
Absolutely,
schools.
Because it might hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
You know, you can't read Huckleberry Finn because they use the N-word. Yeah. Well, sorry, it was based in that timeline.
Right.
I mean, it's a fact of history. I mean, it's so funny that liberals are like, you know, we're so open-minded and this, that, and the other. Really? Because you're borderline fucking book burners. Mm-hmm. You want to burn books. You know who fucking did that? Nazis. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Shit, Islam does that shit. They won't even let certain books into their fucking country because they know it might expand somebody's mind and, oh, fuck, we lose our hold.
Yeah, see, and I look at it this way. You get rid of pieces of history, what's bound to happen? You repeat them.
Or worse, or worse. I mean, it's basically, it's creating slaves in a slow process. Mm-hmm. You know, Democrats want to give you shit. Hey, we'll give you phones. We'll give you fucking houses you don't have to pay for. We'll fucking pay your bills. We'll give you food. Oh, okay. Well, when you give all that up, and you no longer know how to do anything, and they get enough people on board with that shit, what happens when they take it back? Mm-hmm. You won't know how to feed yourself. You'll be begging for food, shelter, everything else. And who's going to open the door and go, I can give you all this shit back, but guess what? You have to do whatever the fuck I say. Mm-hmm. And what choice are you going to have? That's like a girl who fucking moves to another state with a guy, completely becomes dependent on him, and then she gets dumped, and then she's like, holy fuck. Yeah. I have no family, I got no car, I got nowhere to live, I'm somewhere I don't know anyone. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that, but people don't look at it that way.
For those of you that have any questions, you can always send us a message over here. Our phone systems are down for today. Technical difficulties.
No.
But yeah, you can message us.
Yeah, hopefully the audios are good for everybody.
I'm sure it's good because I get
we're having to use a different mic, so hopefully y'all don't have to turn it up too loud to be able to hear us.
Let me know if this is actually playing on my page.
Yeah, well, as many of you have mentioned, in the past couple of weeks, you want to talk about this topic because, again, it's very important, and we all want to feel protected. And so if you have a question or anything that you want to ask us, we have Deem with us here today, and he will.
I think that's a good point you just made, without trying to make it. Everybody wants to feel secure and protected, and Bryke actually made a really good point with a very simple post. He goes, if you want to stop these atrocities, you need to start taking personal responsibility for your own safety. And I think that's fucking absolutely right. I think if more people were caring and proficient and educated themselves with weapons, I mean, these incidences couldn't thrive. It would be fucking impossible. I mean, if you go into a crowd of 15, 20 people and scream Allah Akbar and pull out a fucking gun, and you got 15 to 20 guns pointed right back at you, 15, 20 people. It doesn't even matter if, you're not the greatest shot in the world, because let me tell you, the second a bullet fucking rips by your head, whatever fucking plan you thought you had is going to change real fucking quick. Because you went from, I'm the predator, you're my victims, to, holy shit, fight or flight. Yep. And, they might panic and fucking run and die that way, or they might try to fight and they're going to die that way. Mm-hmm. But the point is that innocent people don't lose their fucking lives. But you have to be accountable for your own fucking safety. You have to.
What's your opinion about open carry?
I think it's fucking retarded. I'm not gonna say don't open carry. If you want to open carry, that's phenomenal. Do what you do. Me personally, my dad taught me, and it was a really good point. He's a retired officer of like 30-something years. And he brought it up to me because I was opening carry once. He saw me open carry. And it just so happened, like, I was the only holster I had at the moment. But he said, why you do that? And I told him, I do it sometimes. And today just happened because of my holster situation. And he's like, it's not a good idea. People shouldn't open carry. I know a lot of guys who open carry because they think it fucking makes them look cool. Right. I'm the big bad man, I got a fucking gun. Okay? And, it's just macho bullshit. You can have the biggest fucking hog leg on your side. If you don't know how to use it, then it's just a big heavyweight. But here's the reason why I don't do the open carry. The reason why is you're making yourself a fucking target.
Exactly. You're the first target.
You are the first target. You have let everybody in that room know, I have a gun. And you're also limiting your ability to protect yourself. I'm not advocating breaking the law here. I'm going to put that disclaimer out. But honestly, in my opinion, I don't give a fuck if there is a sign that says, don't carry. Because I'm a concealed carrier. The only way you're going to know that I had a gun is because I saved your fucking life and had to shoot some bad guy.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're finding out. Other than that, you're oblivious. But open carry people, they see that sign, it's not an option. They leave that gun in their fucking car. Mm-hmm. Well, then what good are you now? You're just another victim.
Right.
I mean, it's an old video and it's an old case, but it was a mass shooting a long time ago. And the woman went before the court, and it was a very moving speech, but she basically said, you know, me, my mother, and my father went into a cafe, and this cafe had a no carry sign. And her being a law-abiding citizen, keyword, fucking law-abiding, left her gun in her car. She was a concealed weapon carrier, and she left her gun in the car. Well, some fucking maniac drove his truck through the front of that fucking cafe, got out, and just started fucking mowing people down. Her father was shot and killed, and she had her mother, and she went to reach for her gun, and it wasn't fucking there. So she told her mother, hey, we gotta make a break for it. We gotta try to get the fuck out of here, because there was nothing they could do, and he was just going. So when there was her chance and opportunity, her and her mother ran. Well, when she got outside, she had realized her mother didn't follow. It gets me kind of choked up, actually. Her mother didn't follow. She actually went back to her father, who was shot and killed. And that gunman walked up and put a bullet in her head. So she lost her mom and her dad because of a fucking piece of paper of legislation and a fucking sign on a window that said, leave your gun. And had she had her gun, her mom and father might still be alive, along with the other victims that fucking died that day. So, I mean, you want to follow that law, you do what you do.
So, you know, so for those people out there, if you don't carry, you need to. Go get your concealed carry permits, so you're legal to carry, and carry them concealed. It could save your life, it could save somebody else's life.
And to add on that, if you're going to carry, because, you know, I'll say this about that too. If you're going to carry, and it's good advice, you need to seriously sit down and have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
Because not all people who carry,
Should.
when the situation has occurred, actually use their weapon.
True.
You need to ask yourself, if this happens, and you've got to be honest with yourself, am I capable of taking somebody else's life? You got to know. Because you can't make that decision right then. I mean, you already have to have a mindset. And you really need to, getting your concealed weapon permit, carry, you know, that's fine. If you're not an avid shooter, I strongly suggest, if you have a friend that is and can teach you, have them do that. Because the concealed carry permit classes now are a fucking joke. I mean, they shoot not even a box of bullets.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, at a target that's like...
Yeah, at least go out and...
Yeah,
and
be
shoot
proficient
on
with
own.
your weapon.
Go to shooting ranges, go to...
get knowledge where you can get it.
Right. Yeah, the more practice you get, the better you are, and that way, when you do get your permit and everything...
And this sounds sexist, but especially for women, because unfortunately, you know, there has been cases where women carry to protect themselves, and because they weren't proficient, that weapon wound up getting used on them in the crime. So, you know, like I said, you need to have that talk with yourself and decide what you're capable of and furthering your skills.
So let's give them some shout outs to some people that are on. So,
Well, we got Paul Rich, we got Steve, we got Sandy, We got Cordaway
What's up,
watching.
Sandy? What's up, Cordaway?
And we got everybody else, Bernal. I think,
Those some questions.
yeah. Well, no, we got people agreeing with us. I got Steve saying conceal and carry is better. That way the bad guys don't know you're armed.
Absolutely.
Also, I have Sandy. She's saying I have my concealed carry permit, which is good for you. And then Paul says open carry, you lose your tactical advantage.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I saw a YouTube video and the guy was talking about the most dangerous guy in the room. Okay. A lot of guys want to project. It's a tactic. People use it in law enforcement. People use it in everything. It's a military tactic. You present yourself as a force and someone that can take care of themselves, but at the same time, you got to think about it the other way. You put a target on yourself. When anybody enters the room, tell me you don't assess the room. I mean, even unconsciously, and go, "Oh, that's a bad motherfucker right there."
Yeah.
But if you see some dude in like nice polo shirt and slacks, oh, he ain't shit. Don't advertise your capability. Is a good idea. I was a bit of a person and an advocate who did that a lot. I actually have kind of fallen back from that. I have to dress nice for work. Obviously, I'm not dressed nice right now. I came for work. I changed my shirt and put on the hat. But I actually like going out dressed nice. People really don't look at me as a potential, defense or threat. Yeah, I'm a big guy, but when you look like a fucking marshmallow, people are gonna blow right by you, especially the bad guy. But what he doesn't know is he's gonna catch some fucking rounds from the guy who didn't look like a threat.
Yeah, every time I go into like a convenience store or something, I'm always checking everything out as soon as I walk in. I'll be even when I go to like the soda fountain, I'll stand instead of standing there facing the soda fountain. I'm actually turned sideways. I'll be getting my drink, watching everything going on, looking at everybody, and with the open carry guys, when I see them,
they're pretty oblivious.
I'm watching them.
Yeah, and if you notice, those guys really aren't paying attention.
No.
That's the other thing. They think because they got that gun, nobody's going to come at them. I mean, there's been quite a few cases where individuals walked up behind open carry guys, took their gun right out of their holster, and then committed a crime with that person's gun. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be carry, you got to be aware around who's around you. Because, I mean, just because you have a weapon doesn't mean it can't be used against you. The other thing is not only observe people and who's there, it's good practice to know your surroundings as far as where's the nearest exit? How many entry points and exit points can I see? What could I get to the quickest if something occurred? Look at shit like that. Mm-hmm. Like my father-in-law, he's a retired Army colonel. Fucking great guy. Amazing guy. But let me tell you, if he gets on a plane, he's counting how many steps it is from the cockpit back to his seat. What's the nearest exit? He's running scenario through his head. Not because, he wants to be a badass. It's because he wants to make it through another day and he wants to protect his family. Right. He's doing that for his family most of the time. He's thinking, okay, if this happened, you know what? His situational awareness is really heightened. I have to admit, since I've done become more of the civilian, I've been slacking, but I consciously know that, so I'm going to start working on it. But you need to pay attention. You need to have a plan, and I mean, turn it into a fucking game. It doesn't have to be super serious. Turn it into a game, like just run scenarios in your head. Nobody has to know what the fuck you're thinking. Just sit there and be like, this happened, this guy came, I do this, or the fucking fire broke out over there. It's not always going to be a guy with a gun. That's the other thing. Everybody's like, oh, guy with a gun, he's going to shoot the fucking place up. Mm-hmm. It could be a fire. It could be, it could be a car could come to the fucking wall. Think about how you're going to help the victims. Think about, how you're going to help people get out, or how you're not going to panic, how you're going to protect your family and get out, I was Walmart and Buckeye. Walmart and fucking Buckeye. Me, my wife, and my daughter were there, and we were just setting up a new DirecTV plan. Lady comes up. She's like, everybody has to get out of the store right now. We're evacuating the store. Okay, first question out of my mouth is, why? I don't know. They just told me everybody has to be evacuated right now. Okay. So, immediately I'm running a scenario through my head. Could be a shooter. Could be a bomb threat. Could be a fire. So, shooter, I have a small carry gun. This is my small little Glock carry gun. Okay? The great thing about this is, you can't really see it. Tiny gun. I took that out of my holster, and I slipped it halfway into my back pocket. So it just looks like I have half of my hand in my pocket. But if I see an immediate threat, it's only a second. Okay? So I took that out, put it in my back pocket, because I don't want to alert anyone else. I don't want to panic anybody else. I knew where the nearest exit was, and I told my wife, this is where we're going. Stay right here, in this position, and my head was on a swivel, all the way out. Every aisle, looking, listening, okay? But deadlining it to that exit, okay? No shooters, no nothing. When we got out there, they were advising, hey, everybody needs to go to the Taco Bell. Go to the Taco Bell. My wife starts turning towards to go to the Taco. No, we're not going to the fucking Taco Bell. And the reason you don't want to ever exit to the emergency exit is you don't know what that potential person knows. They might know that place's evacuation procedure. It's a fucking bomb threat. They can have a bomb at the fucking Taco Bell. Wait till everybody's out of fucking Walmart and then blow the fucking Taco Bell. Or if they're a shooter and they know the exit, they're going to wait till that big crowd of people in confusion are at the fucking Taco Bell, and then they'll open fire there. You don't know what that person knows. So, pick a place, which we did. I wanted to, because I know explosives. Far enough away from the building that I knew if it blew, it's not fucking getting us. Nowhere near where the fuck they were trying to herd all the sheep. And still my head on a swivel, paying attention. And my wife's not really like cut out mentally for that kind of stuff. So she got panicky, so it was like calming her down. But when it started getting a little too odd, and I felt it was safe enough to get to the vehicle, because the vehicle was within a dangerous distance to the building. Once I thought it was, safe enough, we could quickly get in the vehicle and exit, and there was enough people out of the parking lot and not enough people standing around to where we would be blocked in, because that's the worst thing. You don't want to be a sitting duck in a fucking car. It's a death cage. So, then we exited. Rumors spread, people said it was a fucking bomb threat, a shooter threat, yada yada. I found a local PD officer, I said, hey, this and this happened. What was it? It was just an electrical issue. They had an electrical issue they wanted to evacuate in case a fire started. So like I said, it can be anything. The other thing with concealed carry getting involved, you don't want to wind up getting fucking shot by the cops. Because they don't know who the fuck you are. Let's get that straight. In a situation, they don't know if you're the good guy. They don't know if you're the fucking bad guy. You're just a guy with a fucking gun. Okay? So, the same goes with the public. If they see you and you're flashing that gun, they don't know if you're the good guy. They don't know if you're the bad guy. I look like a fucking scumbag. Look at this fucking beard. I'm a big, huge guy. Most people are like, look at that racist fucking Aryan. You know what I mean? They don't know. They're going to make assumptions about you. So keeping the lowest profile possible in that situation is the best thing. Pay attention if, there is cops, or if they show up. I've had situations where I've had to draw down on people, and the cops showed up, and I've had cop guns put in my face. But I was smart enough at the time to not have my fucking gun in my hands. When the situation had resolved, I put the motherfucker away. And when they came up, when I talked to the officer, the first thing he said was, yeah, we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We just heard there was somebody with a gun. That's what I'm saying. They don't know. So don't wind up being a victim on a fucking accident when you're trying to do the right thing. You got to be conscious of that shit.
I think the last question would be what people that are actually carrying and they go and they practice, but when it's time to pull that trigger, they become very nervous and they're not ready to pull that trigger. How can they overcome that fear? I mean, I know it's a difficult fear to overcome, but
more practice.
Practice.
Go to shooting ranges.
You know what? It's in your everything goes down to your muscle memory. It really does, because when you go into panic mode, you're automatically your body's gonna automatically react. I mean, they used to teach. I remember learning that in martial arts. When I was a kid, and it's true. I mean, it's cool to have a plan when you go into a fight, but I used to compete, and the very first year I competed, I got my fucking ass handed to me, like real quick. And let me tell you, I was the top of my class. I was an assistant instructor, so I thought it was pretty hot shit. But I learned real fucking fast that I was training the wrong way, and that muscle memory kicks in. It doesn't matter how good your fucking plan is. When it's chaos, you're gonna go to your muscle memory. That situation where I had to draw down on that individual, I can honestly say I had my gun out and on target on him so fast, I hadn't even realized I did it. I mean, it was like, holy shit, my gun's already out, And a friend of mine happened to be there, and he was like, that shit was like an episode of Cops. He's like, you had that gun trained on him so fast. And I was like, yeah, muscle memory. Because I had already known he was a threat, and I told myself if this individual kept coming, to stop him. And I mean, I was out on him, and I told him flat out, I said, you don't get the fuck down, I'm gonna kill him. That's the other thing. Make your intentions clear. Yep. Make them loud, because I mean, you got to think about what's going to happen afterwards. I mean, you might have to go to court, but if you have 20 witnesses that say, I heard him tell him if he didn't fucking comply, he was going to fucking kill him. That plays on your part. That means that individual knew your exact intent.
He had the opportunity.
And he said, fuck it. And he went for it. So he showed his intent once he knew that, you told him, if you do this, I will do this. And I just recently saw a cop video which kind of reflected that, where he had pulled this individual over and he tried to go for a gun. And he put his duty weapon to that guy's head, and he said, if you reach for that gun, I'm going to blow your fucking brains out. I mean, not professional, but it gets the fucking point across. And he gave this guy 30 fucking warnings, and the guy wound up still going for the gun, and he fucking shot the shit out of him. But it's like, nobody can say, oh, that was uncalled for. No, he told him 30 fucking times, if you do this, I will do this. Yep. And he fucking did it. It comes down to muscle memory. Training, I mean, you're not gonna have time to overthink it, because anybody's been in a situation, let me tell you, it happens like that fucking fast. And somebody can pull it apart for the next fucking 6 months all they want, but I mean, your decision's gonna occur that quick.
Well, we got about 5 more minutes left, and so.
Till the break or the end of the show?
End of the show.
Oh, okay. God damn,
yeah, I was an hour long.
Well, we would have.
Can I have a cigarette right now? I'm dying.
But with that 5,
I can smoke and talk.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to say, like, any last words to people that are watching us?
Yeah,
as
any
far as
final
like,
thoughts you want, or anything you might forgot that you wanted to add in?
No, I'll just kind of recap. I mean, be responsible for your own personal protection. If you're going to carry, come to terms with what you might have to do. Get trained. The other half is, don't take everything as a gospel. Shit, don't take everything I say as a fucking gospel. I mean, if you want knowledge and knowledge is power, seek it the fuck out. Don't go to what's fed to the masses. Go to what's fed to the few by the educated, who know what they're talking about.
And of course, know your rights.
Exactly. And that's a huge thing people neglect. They don't know anything about the fucking law. I mean, just as simple as, getting pulled over. I think it's hilarious. You ever watch Cops? And the officer says, you mind if I take a look in your car? And the fucking guy knows he's got dope and guns or whatever, and he goes, yeah, that's fine. Because he thinks he doesn't have a fucking choice.
Right.
Okay, if an officer asks you something, it's because you have a choice. He can't do shit unless you give consent. But people don't even know that little bit. So they just willy-nilly go. They just assume this isn't an option. He's just being polite and telling me. You know what I mean?
There are loopholes though, because they can bring the dog.
Oh yeah, they do the fake hits and shit like that. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That's what.
But that's somebody just being a bad guy.
But from the first initial start, they ask you the question. Yeah, that's because they can't do anything until you give the consent.
Exactly. I mean, and unless there's. Anyways, we're getting way too more into this. But I'm just saying, it's good to know the law, know your local laws, know the federal laws too. I mean, know as much as you can about that, and know your rights. That's very important. And if you're doing something or going to involve yourself in something, you better research the repercussions or the scenarios of what could happen to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had David Deem with us on the special topic, gun control. I know many of you wanted to, discuss this topic. We did have some questions. We were expecting more, but hey, you can always watch this video and ask those questions in the comment box, and we'll respond back to you. It's not going to be live. It's going to be, behind the scenes, but your questions will be answered. So. If you have any question you're not aware of, what are your rights as far as carrying, as far as what your limits are, just send us a message. We'll forward it to Deem. If you want more instructions.
I am not a lawyer. Disclaimer. All right.
He's not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure after you guys heard this, past hour listening to him,
Babble.
I'm sure you guys can right away. Tell that he knows his shit. So, yes, kind of.
I'm winging it here, man. No.
But I definitely want to thank you, Dean, for coming out and joining the show with us today.
I had a blast, man. This was great.
You're our first actual live guest.
Popping that cherry.
Yep. And I want to thank the people backstage that's watching us backstage here. I'm glad you joined us, and hopefully the next one you'll be joining us again.
Absolutely.
Always join us on Facebook also, so you can actually see the whole set. And once we get our power supply back for our mixer and stuff.
Yeah, we ran a little technical.
We'll be able to have music and all that stuff with us too. I want to thank everybody that has joined us over on Facebook also, and
we'll see you guys definitely next week with another hot topic. Feel free to shoot us a message of what you want to listen on our show.
Put in the comments your suggestions for topics. Put in the comments what you want to hear and see and stuff.
Any suggestion you want to? I know you suggested gun control.
Yeah.
More of me. Not
You're welcome back anytime. So.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'll wear that fucking welcome out so fast.
He might be the third host. It'll have to be Hot Topics with Z, Tough, and...
we'll have to change the rating. Make it rated R 18.
Yeah. Don't let your children listen to this.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you next week at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday with another hot topic with Z and Tuck.
Peace.